This is Module 6, Lesson 2 through 4 homework. This is number 1. The graph below shows the total amount of money Arthur saves in his piggy bank after a given number of weeks. Arthur inserts the same amount of money into his piggy bank each week. That means it's a constant rate, so it's linear. He never takes any money out. Express the amount in Arthur's piggy bank, Y, after X weeks savings of the function. Okay, explain the meaning of the rate of change of the function. Show your work. Okay, so let's make sure we put everything in there that we need. When you're doing a constructed response, take notes so you know what all you need to do. Okay, express the amount in Arthur's piggy bank. And it tells you how you're going to express it as Y and X, and explain the meaning of the rate of change. So that's the second thing you're going to do. Show your work. So let's try this. Okay, first off, y is equal to mx plus b. That would be, it's a linear equation, so it's y is equal to mx plus b. Our b, where it starts, we've got to see where it starts. That looks like it starts at halfway between 1 and 2, so that's 1.5. It's $1.50. Now let's see how it's changing. We need 2 points to use to find our m, don't we? Because we know that m is changing y over changing x. Here's our x, here's our y. So let's find 2 points. This is at 1, 2.25, 50, 75, 275. That's at 1, 2.75. So let's put that in there. Week 1, he's got $2.75. Let's see, let's see what week is that. Week 6, we got week 6. At week 6, what have we got? Let's see. We would have 9.25. 9.25. Okay, so to find the difference here, that's week 6, not week 2, so week 6. To find the change in y with the change in x, we need to find the difference in our y values. Change in y over change in x would be 9.25 minus 2.75 divided by 6 minus 1. Okay, so 925 minus 275. Use your calculator. 925 minus 275. That would give me 650. Okay, so this is 650 over 6 minus 1, which is 5. Divide 650 by 5, and our rate of change is $1.30. Okay, so our m is 130. Here's our equation. Y is $1.30 times the number of weeks plus $1.50. He started with $1.50 in his piggy bank. He's adding $1.30 each week. Then it says what was this? Explain the meaning of the rate of change. Well, our rate of change is $1.30. Remember, our rate of change is always changing y over changing x. Our y is dollars, our x is weeks. It's $1.30 per week. Okay. Now let's go to the next one. Lauren received some money as a gift for a birthday gift, or as a gift for her birthday. She saved this money, and since then she has saved some of her allowance each week. The linear equation represents the total number of dollars, T, that she saved W weeks after her birthday. What is the value of T when W is 0? Well, let's see. That's the first thing they ask us. And then it says, what does this value represent in terms of the context? Show your work, explain your reasoning. Well, let's do the first one. What is it when W is equal to 0? That would be T is equal to 5 times 0 plus 25. So at 0 weeks, when she first gets started, she's got $25. Okay, what does the value represent in terms of the context? Well, this is your B, isn't it? This is where you begin. So that must be the money she received as a gift for her birthday. $25 is what she received, because this is what she started with, right? As a birthday gift, huh? It is our B. Y is equal to mx plus b. See, 25 is the B, where she begins. Okay? Two functions, function A and function B, are shown below. Drag and drop the correct equation into the blank boxes to complete the sentence below. So what would this equation be? Let's see. Our equation is going to be y is equal to mx plus b. Our b is where we cross the y-axis. In this case, that's -3. Okay, then we need to find our slope, our rise over our run. Remember, m is changing y over changing x. Rise over run. Okay, so let's draw. Let's find 2 points. Here's 2 points. And let's draw a right triangle. I'm going up 1, 2, 3. So up 3 and over 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 and over 6. So my rise over my run is 3 over 6. You reduce that, that's 1 over 2. My slope is 1 over 2. It's positive because it's going up. Okay, so function A is y is equal to 1/2 x minus 3. Okay, let's see, 1/2 x minus 3. There's that one. Now let's do this one, function B. Y is equal to mx plus b. Our B is where our x is 0, the point 0, 3. Our B would be 3, right? Think about it. What you've got is, this is where it's going through the y-axis at this point, 0, 3. Okay, so here is your B. Your B is 3. Now let's find our M, our rise over our run. Okay, M is always equal to change in y over change in x. Our change in y here would be 3 minus 5. Our change in x would be 0 minus -1. 3 minus 5 is -2. 0 minus -1 is 0 plus 1, which is 1. So that's -2. Y is equal to -2x plus 3. Okay? Here we go. Right there. Okay. Now, for each candy bar that Gary's classmates sell, they earn $1.50 towards a special field trip at the end of the school year. So that's $1.50 per candy bar, right? Let T represent the total amount of dollars that the class earns after selling C candy bars. On the grid below, graph the equation that represents the relationship between T and C. Okay, well, let's see. T is a total amount in dollars. Okay, they're going to earn $1.50 for each candy bar. They earn $1.50. So there's your rate of change, $1.50 times your number of candy bars, right? That would be C. So if we're plotting this, we need to start at 0, right? Because that is, T is equal to $1.50 per candy bar times the number of candy bars plus 0. At 0 candy bars, you got 0 money. So you start at 0. And for each candy bar, you go up $1.50. And there would be your 2 points, and you draw your line through it. Okay. Marissa's training to try out for the track team. In her first week of training, week 1, she runs 5 miles. In her second week of training, week 2, she runs 6 miles. Week 3, she runs 7. If W represents the weeks and M represents the distance she runs, okay, if Melissa continues that pattern, which statements are true? Okay, well, let's look at this. We've got our weeks and we've got our distance. Let's see, distance that she runs, number of miles she runs. Week 1, she went 5 miles. Week 2, she's 6. Week 3, she's 7. Okay, so she's going up 1 mile each time, right? Okay, what would happen? Let's see, given any training week, Melissa will run 1 more mile the following week. Well, that's what this is saying, isn't it? Week 4 would be 8, week 5 would be 9, so on and so forth, right? So that's true. Melissa will run 10 miles the 5th week. No, it's 9, right? When week is equal to 4, M is equal to 8. Yep. The equation M is equal to W plus 4 can be used to model the situation. Well, let's see. Y is equal to MX plus B. Okay, let's see if we work backwards. If we back 1, it's 1 up each time, so that would be 4. B is 4. Let's find our M. Remember, M is your change in Y over change in X. The difference in our Y values would be 6 minus 5. The difference in our X values would be 2 minus 1. 6 minus 5 is 1. 2 minus 1 is 1. So our slope is 1. Y is equal to 1x, or just Y is equal to x plus 4. Remember, our Y is M. So M is equal to W plus 4. M is equal to W plus 4. That can be used. M is equal to W plus 5 can be used. Nope. Okay. Oh, wait, we didn't put in when W was 4 is equal to 8. We knew that one was right. Okay. Let's look at number 6. Lucas charges customers a setup fee of $85 plus $18 per hour, each hour, that means per hour, to design a website for their business. Let T be the function that represents the total amount of dollars that Lucas charges a customer after working H hours. So that is T is going to be equal to MH plus B, right? Okay. Well, let's plug it in. There's a setup fee of $85. That's where you start. And $18 each hour. That means that is your rate of change. So your total amount would be $18 per hour times your number of hours plus $85. Choose all that correct. That is correct. T is a linear function. Yep, it is. The rate of change of the total cost with respect to time is 103. The rate of change is not 103, it's 18. T is equal to 85H. Nope. The graph of T includes the point 0, 85. Well, you would be starting, if this is 0, that would be 85, right? If you were plotting this, you would start at 85. So this is true. Simon bought a 10-pound bag of cat food. He gives his cat 3/10 of a pound per day. That means that's your rate of change. Write an equation in 2 variables to describe how the amount of cat food in the bag changes over time. Explain what each variable in your equation represents. So there's 2 things to do. Let's write our linear equation. We start with y is equal to mx plus b. Now, we can call it that, or you can call it something else. If we call it that, we can say y is equal to what? We're starting with a 10-pound bag of cat food, right? So y is going to be the pounds of cat food, right? What is our x? X is going to be per day, so it's going to be days. See, pounds per day, that's your y, that's your x. Okay, so y will be equal to, we started with 10 pounds, and he's given his cat 0.3 pounds a day. So it's going down 0.3. There's your equation. There's your variables. And we know it's going down because he's feeding the cat, so it's going down. So it's a negative slope. The amount of fuel in the tractor's fuel tank is changing according to this equation. Okay, y is equal to negative 3x plus 40, where x is time and y is the amount in gallons. What is the rate of change described? Explain the meaning of the rate of change. Well, we know this is y is equal to mx plus b. So your m is negative 3. What would that be? You're talking about the amount of fuel in the tank per what? Per hour. It's going down. So it's going down. Fuel goes down. 3 what? 3 gallons per hour, right? That's what it means. The height of a bamboo plant is changing according to the equation y is equal to 4x plus 5, where x is time in months and y is height in feet. What's the initial value of this equation? Explain the meaning. Well, initial value is your b. Y is equal to mx plus b. So your b is 5. You're talking about a bamboo plant, and this is height, so it's 5 feet. Bamboo plant is 5 feet when planted. Okay. The graph shows how the weight of a puppy is changing over time. What's the slope of the line in the graph? Okay. What's the slope of the line in the graph? What's the meaning of the slope? Okay, well, let's find the slope. We know that slope is rise over run, change in y over change in x. We can find 2 points from grid lines. Draw us a right triangle. Rise over 1 went up 1 and over 5. So that means it's going up 1, what on the y-axis? 1 pound, and 5 what? 5 days, all right? There's your slope. It's 1 over 5. What does it mean? The puppy's weight goes up 1 pound each 5 days. Puppy's weight increases 1 pound each 5 days. Okay. Tracy planted a Monterey oak tree sapling in her yard. The graph below shows how the height of the tree has changed over time. What's the initial value of the function? What does it mean? Okay, well, initial value will be right here. Going from 10 to 20, I've got 1, 2, 3, 4 spots. So I'm going up 10, divide that by 4, so that would be 2.5. So this is 12.5. That would be 15. That would be 17.5. So it starts at 12.5 what? Feet. Okay, what does that mean? At planting, the tree is 12.5 feet tall. 12.5 feet tall. Okay. Let's go to 12. This table shows a relationship between cars washed and money earned at a fundraiser. Use the table to construct a function that represents the relationship. Define your variables. Two things to do, right? Okay. So what if I call this C the cars and M the money, or we can call, we can put E as earnings, okay? C is equal to number of cars. E is equal to money earned. We start with Y is equal to MX plus B, okay? Why? Because look, our function, our rate of change is the same. We're going up $6 each time. So to find B, our starting point, it is 0. Now let's find our M. Our M is our change in Y over change in X. Okay, let's try these two. 12 minus 6, you can do either 2, over 2 minus 1. See how we kept our 12 and 2 in the same spot, 6 and 1 together. 12 minus 6 is 6 over 1, so our M is 6. That means that we're going up $6 per car, and there's no initial fee. Look at the table below showing the volume of water remaining in a swimming pool as it's drained. Explain how to find the rate of change of the volume of the pool in gallons per minute, okay? So to find the rate of change, your rate of change is your change in Y over change in X. Okay, this is your X, that's your Y, because X comes first. Let's find the difference between those two. That would be 16,000 minus 19,000 gallons over, let's see, 16s with your 1. 1 minus 0. That would be 3,000 gallons per, gallons is your Y, gallons per hour. 3,000 gallons per hour, okay? Carmen's family just moved into a new home. They have many boxes that still need to be unpacked. Carmen's mom decides to unpack a certain amount of boxes every day until all the boxes are unpacked. This is the graph of the linear relationship between days and boxes left to unpack, okay? So you got days and boxes left, okay? Interpret the rate of change in terms of the number of boxes. Explain how you determined your answer. Okay, so we need the rate of change on this one. That's our M, our rise over our run, our slope, our change in Y over change in X. What we're going to do is we are going to find 2 points that you've got on grid lines. Okay, let's see. Here's one. You can see 120 is perfectly on a place where the grid lines meet. Now let's find another one that's easily on where 2 grid lines meet. Here's one right here. Now our change in Y would be this side here. So that would be 120 minus 80 over, and now we're going over. See, these are in 2s. See, check your scales. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10. 120 minus 80 is 40 over 10. 40 divided by 10, so that's 4 boxes per day, okay? Because Y over X, this is boxes per day. A car wash allows car owners to wash their cars by hand with power washer. Cost for time spent washing are shown on the table. Interpret the rate of change represented by the numbers in the table. We know our rate of change is our M, our change in Y over change in X. Here's your X, here's your Y. Here's the difference in X values will be 325 minus 250 over, and 325 corresponds to the 2. 2 minus 1. So that is, let's see, 75 cents, okay, over 1. That's 75 cents. So interpret the rate of change. Goes up 75 cents per minute of washing, right? Cost increases by 75 cents, okay? And that's your change in Y per minute, okay? There you go. Okay. The coordinate plane below shows the graph of a linear equation. Which equation best fits the graph? Okay, we know that our B is 4. All of them are 4. We just need to find the slope. Slope is rise over run. Up 1 over 2, right? So that would be up 1 over 2. There's your answer. The table below shows the total amount a company charges the homeowner to clean carpets in different rooms of the house, or different rooms. Which equation determines D, the cost in dollars to clean rooms? Okay, so let's do the equation. We can figure it out from there. We know a linear equation is y is equal to mx plus b. We don't have a 0 here, and it'd be hard to work our way backwards. So let's get our m first. How about that? We know that our m is our change in y over change in x. Here's our x, here's our y, because x comes first, y comes second. That would be 126 minus 97 over 4 minus 3. 126 minus 97 would be 26, 27, 28, 29. That would be 29 over 1, so that would be $29. So our m is 29. Okay, y is equal to 29, x plus b, or in this case, that would be d is equal to 29x plus b. Now we need to know what our b is. Is our b 0? Well, if I put in 0 here, okay, let's see, if I have 0 rooms, let's see, if I have 0 rooms to do, let's see what 0 would be. Let's see what our b would be. D is equal to 29 times 0 plus b, all right? We don't know what our d would be. We don't know what that would be. So that's not going to get you there, is it? Okay, so let's don't do that. Let's try putting in a point and seeing what we get. We've got 397. Let's try that. Here's an x and here's a y. Okay, D is your y. So is 97 equal to 29 times 3 plus b, okay? We need to multiply 29 times 3. Use your calculator. That would be 87, okay? 97 is equal to 87 plus b. Subtract 87 from each side. B would be 10. Okay, so your equation is D is equal to 29x plus 10. Here you go. Let's look at 18. The table shows how the amount of bird seed in a bird feeder changes over time. Okay, let's write the equation for it. A is your amount. Oh, here's your x, here's your y. But A is equal to MT plus B. All right. In all cases, they're starting with 16, so B is your 16. We just simply need to find our rate of change. The rate of change, the M, is always change in Y over change in X. All right, that would be 13 minus 16 over 5 minus 0. And that would give you negative 3 over 5. If you put that into a calculator, that's going to be negative 6/10. Okay? So you start with 16 and you're subtracting 6/10. There you go. A tree was 8 feet tall when it was planted. Okay, so 8 feet tall when it was planted. After 5 years, it's 18 feet tall. What was the tree's growth rate? Okay, your growth rate is your M. That's your change in Y over change in X. Growth rate's feet per year. So what we want is our Y to be feet and our X to be years. Okay. All right. In year 0, the year was planted, it was 8 feet tall. 5 years, it is 18. Change in Y would be 18 minus 8. Change in X is 5 minus 0. That gives you 10 over 5. That gives you 2. Okay? Its growth rate is 2 feet per year. Monique is reading a book. The table shows how the number of pages remaining in the book is changing over time. Okay, which equation describes the relationship? Your equation, your linear equation is y is equal to mx plus b. B is where you start. At time 0, there's 360 pages in that book. So that's positive 365 pages. Right, so that gets rid of both of those. Now, as you read, let's see what your m would be. M is change in y over change in x. Here's your x, here's your y. Change in y would be 320 minus 360 over 1 minus 0. That gives you negative 40 over 1. Okay? So your slope is negative 40. Y is equal to negative 40x plus 360, or negative 40t plus 360. The cell phone had a value of $120 when it was purchased. Since then, its value has been decreasing by $5 per month. Okay? The situation modeled can be shown by this equation. Okay, what's the value of M? Well, if it's decreasing by $5 per month, that's negative 5. The table shows how the height of a glider is changing over time. What's the rate of change of the glider's height? We know that the rate of change is M is equal to change in Y over change in X. Here's your X, here's your Y. So that gives you 250 minus 280 divided by 5 minus 0. That is negative 30 over 5. That is negative 6. It's going down 6 meters per minute. The graph shows how the amount of bird seed in a bird feeder is changing over time. What's the slope of the line? Let's find 2 points, and we know that slope is change in Y over change in X. So we can simply use this right here. I'm going down 1 and over 1, 2, 3, 4. Down 1 and over 4. What's the slope of the line? Let's see. Down 1 over 1, 2, 3, 4. Down 1 and over 4. Slope of the line on the graph. That was not there. Maybe we've got something wrong, so let's look at it again. It's over 5. Hard to see under big lines. Okay, we're going down 1, and we're going over 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Down 1 and over 5. If you divide those, you're looking at negative 0.2. A heater repairman charges $40 to visit a home plus $70 per hour. The situation can be described by an equation y is equal to mx plus b, where x is hours, y is dollars. What's the value of b? Well, if he charges $40 to visit, then $70 per hour, your starting is $40. A baby weighed 7.5 pounds when she was born. After she was born, she gained half a pound per week. Okay, the relationship between x, the time in weeks, and y, the weight in pounds, can be described by the linear equation. When this equation is graphed, what is the y-intercept? Where does it start? 7.5 pounds. Y-intercept is your b. To join a video rental club, a member pays an initial fee plus an additional monthly cost. The equation below describes the relationship between x, the number of months the member rents videos, and y, the total cost. What's the meaning of the rate of change? Well, the rate of change is always the m. It's in front of your variable. In this case, we would be talking about $20. Let's see. What is your x and your y? Place an initial fee plus an additional monthly cost. The number of months and the total dollars. That's the dollars per month. That's what this is. It would be $20 per month. Cost is $20 per month. The value of Jeremy's car is decreased by a constant amount each year after purchase. The equation describes the relationship between x, the number of years since the car was purchased, and y, the value in dollars of the car. What's the meaning of the rate of change? So see, this is the initial value. Whatever's in front of the variable is your rate of change. This means the car is going down $1,500 in value each year, okay? It means that, let's see, where is it? It means there's a $1,500 decrease in value each year. A computer technician charges a fixed amount for a repair plus an additional amount per hour. The equation below describes why the total amount the technician charges in dollars based on the hours. What's the meaning of the initial value of the equation? Okay, that's what they charge to start with. He charges $75, means the technician charges the fixed amount of $75 for the repair. Then there's the $45 per hour, right? A biologist studied the number of catfish in a small lake during an 8-month period. The line graphed on the coordinate grid shows the relationship between the number of months of the study and the number of catfish in the lake. What's the meaning of the rate of the change? Now remember, rate of change is change in y over change in x. From here, you would be going up. Hold on. Our m would be change in y over change in x. Okay? We've got 2 points here. You could draw your thing, or you could use a T-chart. We've got 0, 30, and we've got 8, 62. Change in y would be 62 minus 30. Change in x is 8 minus 0. Okay, so that gives me 32 divided by 8. Okay, so that means that your it means your number of catfish is increased at a rate of 4 catfish per month. Because if you divide that, you got 4. And that's 4 catfish is your Y over your X, which is months. 4 catfish per month. The graph of the linear function below represents the cost of delivering some office equipment from a factory based on the number of miles for the delivery. Okay, let's see. What is the meaning of the initial value? That would be the cost in dollars, okay? Means there's a base cost of $20. Means there's a base cost of $20 before the equipment leaves the factory, right there. The coordinate grid shows the graph of a linear function that represents the amount Jocelyn earns each week at her job. The total amount she earns is based on the amount of her sales. Okay, what's the meaning of the initial value, which is 400, the amount of her earnings? Isn't that what she's going to get before any of her sales? Because that's at 0 sales, right? It means she's got a base salary of 400 per week. The graph on the coordinate grid below shows a linear function that represents the cost per day for renting a car based on the number of miles traveled. Cost, miles. What's the meaning of the initial value? That means it's going to cost you $20 even if they don't drive any miles. Here it says, it means the rental car costs $20. Okay, wait. It means that the rental car has a base cost of $20 per day. That's what it means right there. Okay. Let's see, is that the last one? That's the last one. Okay, I think we've done all the problems for this homework assignment.